on, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God, that's right. Guilty or Guilt-Free has returned. We may have had to cancel some game nights and a SmackDown review, but Guilty or Guilt-Free is back, and that should make everybody exceptionally excited, especially my better half, the man, the myth, the legend himself, here with me, Cody ODD316.
Give me a hell yeah.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm glad Guilty Guilt-Free has returned from its hibernation. So, the groundhog might extend winter, but it can't keep Guilty or Guilt-Free away from us.
Hell no, it can't. Can't keep us bringing it to the fans. I mean...
Fuck that groundhog.
Fuck that groundhog. It's like trying to keep secrets on the island safe. That groundhog knew it was up. He went right back down into his bunker. He's like, 6 more weeks of winter. Suck it.
Do you think the groundhog's in the files?
He might be, and Paul's close. We'll have him take him out. But the thing we wanted to bring up today to unearth the series,
just to let people know, apparently you said there will be Mets files and Heat files releasing soon.
Yeah, there's Mets in Yeet files. Now that the banana files are out there, we're all about uncovering the truth here, and that's exactly what we're digging into today.
We'll get that soon.
Yes, indeed. I think maybe during the Raw review, we might end up with the Mets files and the Yeet files. I got to see what needs to be redacted first. I mean, there's a lot of issues, but we got to get those unearthed and uncovered. I know it said something about the best video gamer in the universe, so I gotta see what's true and not. But today we bring
that could be either me or Liz.
Could be.
Shout out to Liz.
Could be. And we kind of we'll be honest here. We are usually very neutral on these things, and we will admit some bias right off the bat. I like to be as forthcoming as possible. You do have a, not a friendship, but an associative named Nicolo Piccolo that we'll be talking to today. He is the current agent for many top NXT and WWE stars, from Shiloh Hill all the way up to CM Punk and Jade Cargill. So man knows what he's doing. And lately, he's been going through some stuff. Poor guy. He's been having some issues online with some AEW faithfuls and Tony Khan himself. So we'll get into that, the Ron files, and so much more. But right off the top of
Just before we get into that, like the AEW sickos, again, this is where our bias is going to show. It's absolutely ridiculous that you're going to say this guy's a nobody when he's literally... You're wrestling fans, right? He's literally managing some of the top wrestlers in wrestling right now. The WWE champion, the World Heavyweight champion, the WWE Women's champion, the Royal Rumble winner. That's a lot of top talent you got there stacked up.
You have directly spoken to Nick many times before. We let the cat out of the bag, a little bit that you and him were talking and communicating. He had given you a few ins for us to report on and whatnot, talking about Liv coming back when she did and other tidbits of info that's helped the show, so we appreciate it greatly. But he's been nothing but kind, forthcoming, and supportive of wrestling fans in general. He's been very excited to speak to people and has always been a real gentleman. So when we saw all of this coming out and the first accusations being presented, it was a bit jarring. It was unexpected because Nick began his career, Mr. LoPiccolo, all the way back in the magical year of 2009.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah. He, coming from Hollywood, goes into the Paradigm Talent Agency. And this man rises through the ranks. He's ranked top 35, under 35 in Hollywood, one of the top agents. He plays a significant role in Paradigm's growth and innovation, including the launch of Paradigm Sports Group. So he gets away from Hollywood and gets into the sports side of things. He transitioned from film finance and sales to talent and literary representation, reinventing his role as the business evolved. His client roster, according to Deadline, includes a wide range of athletes and talents, and he was known for his strategic approach to talent, content, finance, and emerging platforms. So we start this tale where Nick, after 17 long years since 2009, has gone ahead and he leaves Paradigm. Now, not many knew that he was leaving, that he left, or anything of this sort had really happened back in January. January 23rd, we get Deadline putting out an article, Nicolo Piccolo exits Paradigm after 17 years. And he basically, his roster includes Aaron Donald, Reggie Bush, Ray Lewis, Sean Avery, Amanda Serrano, Zhang Weili, Masvidal, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Cargill, as we said, Morgan, Stratton, more than a dozen WWE and NXT superstars and emerging talent who are expected to benefit from an agency plus relationship as a transition formalizes. They will maintain an ongoing professional relationship and continue working together on their shared clients in the interim. But as we said, he basically started off financing and handling distribution for more than 150 films, spanning studio, independent films, and global markets, including such titles as Immaculate, From Black Bear, and Neon. So at this point, it's like, okay, he's leaving. He's betting on himself. He feels like he's got enough of a roster that he can handle things. And it seems like, hey, this is working out. And all of a sudden, it comes to us before he officially leaves Paradigm. We see a Twitter account that has been harassing him for some long time now. Rear its ugly head.
What's the name go by, Jake? Mr. Ron?
It is indeed a Ron with a bunch of numbers after it. And it ended up what
inside
to us,
Mr. Ron knows.
Yes, and it looked to us like it was a very one-dimensional thing. It was a certain side clapping back, or at least attempting to harass and intimidate another side. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So, talking on X on Sunday, while he was still with Paradigm at this point, he wasn't gone yet. Nicolo Piccolo responded to a clip from Wrestling Observer Lives, while Brian Alvarez criticized the performance of one of his agency's clients, Blake Monroe. In the clip, Brian Alvarez critiqued Monroe's first month in WWE developmental NXT, stating that he preferred the way she was being presented during her AEW time. And this is when he replied, saying the PR hit is part of a coordinated smear campaign targeting me and the former AEW talent now thriving in WWE, represented by Paradigm, including, and he mentions the names, Cargill, Rusev, Blake Monroe, CM Punk. The pattern is obvious. The intent is malicious. We see it. We document it. So initially, he didn't offer any evidence or examples. And we kind of were like, this seems bizarre. But then he starts unearthing this Ron account, the Ron account that knows many private and untold details about
that only Nick and Tony had for conversations.
Yes.
Then Nick has shown that stuff, saying, see, this is stuff we've only talked about. And Ron has also accidentally tweeted on that account, like all the stuff, the rundowns that Tony has for Dynamite, then quickly deletes it, then reposts it on Tony Khan's account. So this is how you kind of know this has to be Tony Khan. Again, our bias is showing here. I know some of you AEW sickos are going to be like, Mr. Tony Khan can't do anything wrong in his life, but I honestly think this is evidence that this could potentially be Mr. Tony Ron.
So what gives us the inkling? I mean, he might be innocent until, perceived and charged as guilty. But here's the thing that we're hung up on is certainly the knowledge of a lot of private information, the timing of it all. And you have to take out consideration for Tony's history, what he's known for, what he's done, how he started on the internet. His dad used to fly him in for ECW shows. He's always had the life of luxury, and he would go online to these message boards and troll. That's what he did. He was an outspoken troll and would basically shitpost away on these sites. So it starts off where Tony is being accused of running this Ron account. It is Ron11479280, about as innocuous as you can get. And it was very, very weird. And
absolutely.
Yeah. He's like, this account is starting to retweet like, oh, look, we're all elite, or I'm the con now, instead of Tony Khan. And I don't know. It's just,
I think it's just a odd situation altogether because it's not just the Ron account. There's been like woman accounts too that has done this. Tony Khan has multiple burners apparently, but this Ron account has been the main key factor. And he follows everybody that is around the AEW sicko circle, like that worship Tony Khan. He follows anti-Jade Cargill stuff, anti-trans stuff, anti-gay stuff, like all the.
There's even a lot of like they claim him to be an anti-Zionist and even more here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad information and things being said with this account, and this comes right after Meltzer gets a live call from Tony Khan while broadcasting on Wrestling Observer Radio.
You end up back where you were, just with a lower price. So
Tony Khan, and he's calling. So he's secretly paid to consult, a lot of people feel, because more often than not, his opinion really is just to defend AEW in any way possible. When people were discussing about the possibility of who could be the masked man at Survivor Series, Dave was going on and on about how it absolutely could not be Austin Theory. Things like this. He's got a bit of the inside information. He's raring to go. Well, let's see, and that's kind of been the problem here, that focal point.
Dave got a call from Ron.
That's all that was. And unfortunately, as well as I do, I mean, the facts are the facts. And that's what it comes down to be most times, is that, hey, it's not working like it should. And it doesn't look like it should. It just doesn't add up. And that's been a lot of this. And unfortunately, I don't know. I tend to follow the facts more than anything else. And we've seen Meltzer be criticized for a long time now.
Absolutely.
So this pro Tony Khan account that posts things, this is from Nick himself. So he says the pro Tony Khan account, the Ron, numbered account, that posts things that only Tony would know, followed by BJ Bethel and other Tony co-conspirators, follows Tony Khan bot armies, is Muslim, anti-trans, anti-Jade Cargill, anti all of the same people as Tony, immediately mass deleted his post and locked his account down after I tagged NFL Commissioner on Sunday night. That must have hit too close to home because his obvious burner reported my X account to get it suspended less than 15 minutes later after I tagged the NFL. And I connected the dots here. But this guy has inside knowledge if I got fired from Paradigm 12 days ago. So, I mean, he said, with close connections to Hollywood, sorry, Tony, the VPN won't save you. And Nick sent multiple posts to let everyone know that his account has been deactivated and then deleted after being suspended. He asked fans to take photos of the screenshots of the account. And at that time, Tony hadn't responded directly, but you do see a swirl of evidence. What happens here is him posting evidence. It says, I noticed how your replies to me are very carefully worded. You've never outright denied anything as I've said. This is Ron. You said things like, okay, bet, and post it, and you know exactly why. Why don't you tell the class what Paradigm told you 10 days ago about your erratic behavior, Nick? So he's trying to say that Nick was let go. And even JD from New York, who's dealt with AEW in a negative light, chimes
that
in.
Ron account always go. You want to discuss that first, or?
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
So, JD from New York. So Ron has replied to him too, stuff that only Tony Khan would know about House of Glory, where JD commentates, and then Ron started posting all the stuff he knew in his replies. So. That just doesn't add up there for you, Tony.
Yeah,
it doesn't help your case at all.
No, it looks very, very bad. And, it could be somebody else, but with all the information being shared, the Ron account now tweeting out like jokes like, I'm the captain now, at Tony CON, calling everybody a con and whatnot. But, I don't know. Tony has a photo with the pastor's son that held 4 people captive in the basement for years. That's not a good look for Tony. And, even Con Man, who I've spoken to many times and enjoy greatly with his reactions, he woke up to his Facebook account banned as well. So that's completely gone. He's not getting it back. AEW has gotten many accounts taken down from him and others. And
I
the
got
Ron
a
account,
cease and desist from them.
Yes, you did firsthand. And a lot of this has never been mentioned. And now the Ron account has retweeted 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pistol photos. People saying pistol or Glock. Yeah. So is that supposed to be some type of like threat? I don't know. It's very bizarre. But the whole thing is that this is definitely somebody's burner. Now, like Jim Cornette and Brian Last said when they delved into this, because they're usually the anti-AEW ones as well, they noted that, hey, this is not a great look for anybody, but you're tagging the NFL commissioner over what essentially is just a burner account. So what are you going to do? Tell him not to shit post online? Like, I get it. There's not a lot that you're going to accomplish here, but this is still.
There was more like with the anti-trans and
yes, so
like
that's,
all that kind of stuff too. So
that's a major issue
about like doxing and like his fucking 5-year-old Jake.
Well, we're getting into that. So Nick was being taken down saying like, oh, he never helped anybody. He didn't do anything. And there were some clients that people had said, like, I don't care how good any agent is, including Nick. They're not magicians. If there's no interest in paying a talent to be in something, it is what it is. He can only do so much to get things so far ahead. So now we get Tony coming out and being talked about. The Ron account. The Ron account gets deleted after it's called out. Then it comes back cleaned up. It just didn't look great. And it was posting things again that either Tony or only his very close inner circle would know.
Yeah, so regardless, it feels like Tony Khan was associated and knew about this account.
It certainly felt and seemed that way, and made it seem like, yeah, this is what's going on. So unfortunately, that's the case for now. And we see agent for top WWE stars accuses podcast host of coordinated smear campaign against him and his clients. He says the pattern is obvious. The intent is malicious. Yep. We see it. We document it. So Nicolo Piccolo said, a lot of this is just a coordinated attack, because now is where the doxing and the harassment really steps up. So like you said, now they start attacking him personally, like further, and they're going into his home life and his child. His child is receiving harassment, and yep. it just continues to look worse and worse. And anytime somebody seemingly got a little bit closer to it, it would disappear, or it would get blocked, or it would, that kind of thing. So there's certainly a lot of control. Nick then continues on saying he has information on other AEW backstage leaks that were given to him. They were given sheets, not the obvious ones, by Ron for what they should be saying online and whatnot. So apparently he's gotten more information. And as well, his Instagram was attempted to be hacked. And Nick says he's receiving fake WWE office texts from burner numbers amid AEW burner feud. So now they just continue. Now they're attacking his home life, his child, his job. He claims someone tried accessing his Instagram account the same day. He said, I got a text from a 475 number and a few weeks ago, a 203 number, pretending to be WWE office. Both are obviously VoIPs, aka burner phones. So he didn't respond to them. But it just shows the effort at which people are going to try and ice him out and make him be in trouble, look like a terrible person. Like they're going every step of the way that they can to really continually attack.
This is what happens with Tony Khan. I've experienced this firsthand. Like if you disagree with anything that his company does or anything he says, you will get this kind of treatment.
Yes. So now in response, Nick does a foolish thing and he posts it. It's supposed to be a joke, but he sends out a post of Tony Khan's phone number and email address and all these things. And people are like, you've been crying wolf about being doxxed, yet here you're posting Tony Khan's phone number and private email address. Apparently this was all BS. It wasn't actually his information. It was just a way to troll back. But he had talent reach out to him telling him, hey, let's take this down. It's not a good look for you to be attacking them equally. So I hate the harassment of children. I've told you before that I've dealt with that exponentially previously with my former position, and it's hell because you could deal with yourself being harassed, but dealing with anybody else coming after your children, your family, I mean, they're not public figures. They shouldn't be involved in these things and so forth. And that's kind of what really gets to be the crux of most of it. You know, it shouldn't be a thing in the first place, but it is. And that's what's really upsetting. So they continue on here going back and forth, and Nick is trying to defend himself online. So he eventually puts out a statement that I'll read. It's quite long, but I want to get there first. Tony Khan facing backlash amid alleged burner account scandal from Forbes, as we continue our guilty and guilt-free discussion. Top talent Nicolo Piccolo accused AEW president of using fake bots on Twitter, burner accounts, and more to coordinate an online harassment campaign against him, stemming from his criticism of AEW. Following the accusations Nick made, multiple AEW Twitter accounts suspected of being burners were immediately deactivated. LoPiccolo recently announced he was departing Paradigm Talent Agency for other endeavors. So it is weird. You know, we've had Marvel versus DC and Drake versus Kendrick. Now we got Nick versus Tony. So as we said, he departs Paradigm after 17 years. He told the move was to be more flexible, unrestrained, and to unlock new revenue streams and opportunities beyond traditional agency structures. AEW,
and I think the AEW side took it as a different route and tried to spin it in a bad light.
Yeah, they tried to show it like, oh, look, he's getting taken out. He's erratic. He's got bad behavior. That's the real reason he's being let go. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's not, you know, anything credible, realistic, or actually worth mentioning. And because they know this and how it's handled, it just leads to more harassment. So Nick is dealing with more. These posts outing Khan as a potential Twitter troll, this time anonymously as compared to the troll activity on his own account, which he does very often, as we know, led to harassing tweets from pro AEW accounts. They targeted his 5-year-old daughter, Nick says, as well, as we mentioned. He calls out the Ron account, and then the harassment really takes a very far spike. And somebody said to Tony, just got caught on your burner, and no ratings for Dynamite. The ship is sinking. And like I said, fans have AEW Dynamite hits Austin with 3 title matches. Talent agent accuses Tony Khan of running secret AEW fan account. And it proved they were talking more about a burner than they ever were talking about anything to do with AEW or Dynamite. So let's go through some of Tony's online controversies. I can't say the word. Damn it.
It's all right.
Controversies
always are first.
Previously, I know. So we go ahead, and our starting one here is that what? What do we know? New Year's Eve 2021, Tony lashes out on Twitter at Big Swole because she said the company lacks diversity. He said the top 2 AEW execs are Brown, me, and Mega, Jade, Bowens, Caster, Dante. He names, anybody that's not white. He said the TBS title tournament has been very diverse. I let Swole's contract expire as I felt her wrestling wasn't good enough. So people were very pissed that he buried her so publicly. In 2022, he suggested WWE was hiring anti-AEW Twitter bots, and he said who'd pay for such a wildly expensive thing. In April, at the same time, during a back and forth with someone that had less than 100 followers, Tony attempted to defend his booking of Satnam Singh. He said, you need to hire this ratio in response to a fan suggesting Khan should hire more wrestling writers. The author has since deleted the post, likely due to harassment after being ratioed by Tony.
Yep.
October 2023.
And, everyone would glaze and tell him, Tony, you're right. And look at AEW now.
Right. I mean, then we had the comment where he called Triple H and Shawn bald assholes when they went head to head in October 23. And Tony faced serious backlash when he made a Harvey Weinstein joke during an appearance on the NFL Network in April 2024. He said, "We're like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. We're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. AEW, the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling." Tony doesn't have a problem being controversial, speaking his mind and getting himself in trouble because he knows...
He likes the attention.
Yeah, that, and he knows that he makes the IWC tick. The internet wrestling community follows behind, Triple H and Tony at this time. Yeah, there are other, promotions and things of the such, but not to the extent that have national acclaim and attention being brought to them. Regardless, it's not a good look for anybody, especially the head of a company, to go ahead and have themselves really just pull such things.
It just shows Tony has this track record. Like, even me, for example, he's one after.
Yes. So now let's talk a little bit. So LoPiccolo says, by the way, this is what my clients, friend, family, rivals, colleagues, and former colleagues read and view. Instagram, not X. No one gives a flying fuck about X except for Tony and a cult of AEW, which starts with Wrestling Observer Dave Meltzer. And then he says, I don't fault anyone for liking AEW. I do fault you if you're caught up in this sick shit. The awards, especially from dirt sheets, I have no problem with Fightful or Sports Illustrated giving AEW awards. I have a problem with Tony leaning into the awards because it leans into it and amplifies the tribalistic bullshit that clearly is intended and attempted to ruin people's lives. He said, I got so many of these texts this week. These fucking texts off the record. As early as last Thursday, I was asked if you still work where you worked. Meltzer and others were confident you were let go. Does that sound normal to you? So he basically is saying that there were whispers about his job status starting before Paradigm departure was ever public. And then he says his 5-year-old daughter was brought to WWE Evolution that he says, was targeted then by a bunch of harassment. He said, my photo of my beautiful 5-year-old girl, Lorraine, giving a thumbs up at Evolution is now at 300,000 views, and there are 100-plus comments and quote tweets with incorrect arrest records spamming that one post. Sound normal to you? So what this means...
See, again, not to like interrupt you, but this is just a common theme. Like WWE shields can be toxic at times, but AEW sickos go to a whole different extent.
So they went and found that Nicolo Piccolo was once arrested at 30 years old, but it's Nicholas Anthony LoPiccolo. So it's a 30-year-old, 6'1", 275-pound man that looks nothing like him. He said, my response was that no one would ever believe I'm 6'1", and that should have ended this. There were so many comments and quotes tagging my Child Protective Services, the FBI, making comments like some fathers don't deserve a daughter. They reported me to DCF repeatedly. She is a child. She's my entire world. Does it sound normal to you that multiple reporters called me, texted me, and DM'd me between July 10th and 12th saying that Tony Khan wanted intel about me? When I clapped back, Tony and his partner at Activist Artists both called above my head to Paradigm to threaten litigation for defamation. So you retort, Cody, you say anything in response, and you're a lying asshole who could be sued by a billionaire that'll slap a lawsuit on you faster than you could ever afford a lawyer to fight back with. Nick made clear that this is not the full story, and that, he said anytime he goes ahead and puts out anything, and he's sharing proof each time. Nick is sharing screenshots, text, DMs, private conversations. He has a lot backing him up here. He has conversations between other people. I kid you not, it would take me a half an hour to read all of just this. But what I'm going through in my revised basis here is to let you know that the flood of an attack that came at him to attack his daughter is horrific. Like I said earlier, I dealt with people sending porn to my daughter's school teachers, and having to deal with sadistic, sick harassment because I said I didn't like a wrestling program online. Like, really? That's what it takes. So we see this tribalistic, violent nature come to such a fever pitch that they're going after a 5-year-old girl at a wrestling show. Just insane. So this continues to go back and forth. And Nick you know, he's had a few missteps throughout this. I'm not going to say he hasn't. We're human. We all do. But you're angry, and it's okay to be angry. You're upset. You're hurt.
Yeah.
You thought you could trust in people and people wouldn't be sadistically ridiculous. You know, because you have an opinion of something online shouldn't lead him to have to deal with this enraged suffering, really. It's just very anger-inducing.
Since he was young, has always been an online warrior for pro wrestling. So,
yeah, and that's a huge part of it, as we know. And a few other people have chimed in. So you get people like Punk and Jade and others saying, Nick is great, no issues, love having him. Same thing with Liv and many others. They're like, hey, the guy is fantastic, and we appreciate everything he does for us, and we enjoy him exponentially. Simple as that. So good to have there.
They all defended him. And those are all top stars, mind you, for somebody that's a nobody, yet AEW dumb fuck sickos.
Exactly. So Kayla Braxton comes out and she says, she's like, he signed me while I was at WWE. I helped him sign several WWE talent by making introductions. He promised to help me out for helping him. I depended on him after I left WWE. He ghosted me. Haven't heard from him since. So, if that says anything about the kind of guy he is. So then John Alba replied to Braxton, expressing sympathy and saying her story was unsurprising. He wrote, "This is the absolute least shocking thing ever, and I'm sorry you dealt with that." She says, "No, John, the least shocking thing ever is giving 10 awards for clout." And, Nick replied. So good to see Nick go ahead and address this. He said, yes, I saw the post. I made contact privately to address this directly. I won't be engaging further on here, but I'm not dodging or ducking anything or pretending like the post doesn't exist. And he said, if that were my reputation, ghosting, you guys wish I would shut my phone off or stop engaging on everything. That's like accusing AEW talent of having bad work rate or accusing Dave Meltzer of being a journalist. No one would.
Yep.
Love the little insult. So what does he say about her? That he's never been her agent. He says right here in black and white, I was not her agent. I didn't ghost her. And if that were my typical behavior, how would I be in the position I am if I was ghosting people and not answering and not helping?
That's my thing. If this is the thing, this is what doesn't make sense. If he ghosted you and that's the type of guy he is, how come he represents CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton?
Exactly. You wouldn't have these top names working together and wrestling. They're on the road together. They become a family. It's a family away from your family. You know, we just saw AJ going through it after his retirement and whatnot. When you're away from the people that you love, it's very, very difficult to handle, right? So you end up making lifetime friendships and bonds with these people. They fucking talk. Do you honestly believe that if there was ever an issue with an agent that controlled other talents' money, lives, and retrospectively their ability to continue to gain popularity and move up higher in the company and in life?
Because these wrestlers talk about certain fans like, this guy's an asshole, just don't be aware of this fan kind of thing. So you don't think they would talk about a talent agent? Exactly. And you feel like, oh, well, even Brian making all of his erection jokes still never had anything bad to say about, that. And that's the thing here. Didn't CM Punk and Liv Morgan, because she's claiming that she got them all, didn't they sign after she left? Yes. And that's the funny part. Like, she was gone over 8 years ago. She left because she said she wanted to pursue other things, but there was no plans for her apparently in the company at that point. And she had kind of reached the level of what they would have her do. Was she memorable? I mean, what Kayla is about all I can think of her, and that was somebody saying her name. Regardless, he comes back and says, I was not her agent. I wasn't her agent. So how is she ever viewed as credible? Then he tries to reply to her and he says, this post from an account that no longer exists. And they're continually sending harassment to him. He's like, this stuff is pure evil. He has 2 law degrees, 17 years in a Hollywood, talent agencies. But, apparently he must just be a bitter crybaby who was a worthless agent. So who cares what he thinks? He said, yep, Todd from the replies cracked the case.
And
yep.
I don't know. So them going back and forth has just not been great. It's good to see that he's back online and still responding and going ahead. I don't agree with posting Tony's docs, even though it's fake. It's still a bad look.
No.
And
so I think the talent just told him, like, watch out with that kind of stuff, because they defended him though. So I think they were just more like, be aware what you say. They don't mind him doing this, but they said just be careful with some things you say, I believe. So
yeah, I laugh because right here he's got Troy McClure, talking, and he says, just checking into my friend. How's my favorite client? And Troy McClure says, we haven't spoken in 8 years. Yeah. He wouldn't be posting things like this if he was actually ignoring his job.
Caleb Braxton.
I don't want to discredit her either, but I don't remember exactly. I tried looking into more of the drama points, but I could have sworn there was a point in time where she even had issues in the back as well. So regardless, it's all troublesome and frustrating, and it just shows how people don't even know really what's going on with wrestling. WWE Unreal is not real, and even that is scripted and handled in such a way that it's supposed to make us feel like, hey, we're seeing what really happens, even though we know better. That's it.
Yeah.
All in all, I genuinely worry, because I don't want to see this becoming the normal rhetoric. Like he said, it's right here. A quick tutorial, since it's easier to explain than go back and forth. This is not random behavior. This is a pattern of a sleeper account waking up. You can see the transition happen in real time. That's the tell. Based on only what is visible in the screenshot I am quoting, here are the elements that matter. Years of basically tweeting into the void and low engagement activity, sudden pivot into hyper-specific fandom content, immediate jump from passive posting to active reply guy behavior. This pattern is what people clock. It's an old account from 2009, ancient by X standards. A long quiet period, abrupt niche fandom activation equals classic sleeper mechanics. So he goes, it's influence op, not metaphorically, literally. They're digital assets aged on purpose to bypass moderation systems. Usually 3 ways. First, abandoned accounts. Second, bulk marketplaces. And third, account farming. So why does age matter? For reputation. The longer your account is built on here, it kind of builds a facade or a mask, is what he's hinting at. He said once that's done, the account pivots, and then they are able to attack. And you can't unsee it unless you're a bot. So the account in question is Gabe606. It says, happy birthday, Tony. Can't wait to see you tomorrow in May. Even though Tony's birthday I thought was in October. A lot of very odd stuff in the way it breaks down. They stopped in 2016, disappeared, and then suddenly they became an AEW fan. So what he's saying is that someone either procured or bought the account to make sure that it bypasses any restrictions that it might have, and it basically can go ahead and not have the typical parameters that would keep it from contacting people hold it back. So because it's been around for so long without being reported as a bad account, because it's been functioning for, those type of things is basically what it's getting at. I want to say I believe him, because we've seen the direct harassment from Tony. Tony and I started DMing each other, and I talked to him in DMs very, very seldomly. But when I had, it had all started because there was an account online that was a YouTuber, and their video on AEW got them a copyright strike, and their channel got taken down subsequently after several strikes and things of harassment. So they had went ahead and reached out to people trying to get help. And then they posted on Twitter saying AEW, took me down. Tony reached out to me directly because I was reporting it on the previous podcast. And Tony's, said that that's untrue. It never happened. It's ridiculous. Don't believe everything that's online, kind of thing. So I took it at face value and went from there. But you can see immediately, there's an allure to being contacted, not just by a billionaire, but a wrestling company owner, all this stuff. So of course you're going to want to believe him, because there's a respect there, a power dynamic, all of these things. And you're like, oh my God, I'm talking to a celebrity, a rich person, someone that is directly involved with things that I absolutely adore, love, and have a fandom for. So I get it. And the shit part is that those biases, they're real and they last for that reason. And you and I try to usually be as unbiased and as forthcoming as possible. And I said early on, you've talked to Nick behind the scenes and have a somewhat, acquaintance relationship with him. We've messaged a few times on things, but that's as far as that's going. It's not just an anti-Tony thing. It could have been done with Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. It could have been done with the Today Show. And they did this shit to him. And they're like, oh, we hate this agent and we're going to harass his 5-year-old daughter and we're going to make accounts to make his life hell. And we're going to try and get him fired. We're going to put out private information that's not to be revealed to the public. We're going to go ahead and release things that we know shouldn't be uttered. And
in my opinion, this whole situation just got way out of hand, and I think it's very unprofessional that Tony Khan would do these type of things, and it all links back to him personally, because who would know the things these accounts tweeted out? And
no doubt,
Tony Khan he's a rager. He gets so mad, he gets so butthurt about every little thing. He gets so upset, and
see, we're not just saying that. We're not just making a claim. There's actual factual proof on this where he's gotten upset. He gets his emotions involved, and then he tweets at people incessantly, and he just keeps it going and keeps it going and keeps it going. We've seen it. We've talked about it. We've discussed it for years now. Tony gets very sensitive and very upset. And hey, we get it, but it doesn't look good to the audience, to the fans, to the viewers, to the WBD and everybody there, and TBS and TNT and just Warner Brothers. Just no one's going to look favorably at you being a troll online. And is it because you feel like he took talent to WWE? I'm sure that's part of it. Is it because he's spoken negatively about AEW? Absolutely. But he's also spoken negatively about WWE, but they ignore that fact. He's not speaking negatively. He's telling an opinion that he has about a wrestling show or about a movie or about anything under the sun. He wasn't attacking people. He wasn't making problems. He wasn't creating a point where, oh my goodness, we'll never, be able to recover from it. He was simply speaking. Tony is not a big deal online. Yes, he holds some power in the background with the agency and stuff, but his presence on Instagram, on Twitter is only 5,000 followers. And then on Instagram, he's got less than 7,000. I know followers is not the biggest metric of anything, but you have to keep in mind, this guy doesn't have a far and wide reach like a Tony or others. He doesn't have, him and I basically have the same reach here. I've got 4,200 fans. He's got just a little bit more. We both can tweet out and get a few likes out of things. It's not, so for him to put in an opinion is not going to keep people from watching AEW. It's not going to keep people from enjoying AEW. It's not going to, none of it. And that's what is most upsetting out of all of this. They're attacking him because they can, because they want to. They're being vitriolic and hate-filled and menacing by anonymity online. So Nick goes ahead and he tags the commissioner. Basically, he's making his play. He's like, here's the guy that's running the Jaguars poorly, might I add you, and this is what it turns into. I'm being harassed online. This account is posting stuff only he knows, and it's lining up that this would be Tony. Should he go into the commissioner? Probably not. I mean, it's a burner account. Is it awful? Yep. Is it morally wrong? Yes. Is it legally wrong? I don't think so, and I don't know. But yet again, it shouldn't be handled or looked at, in any such a way. There's with all the time Tony spends online, I don't know how Dynamite or anything ever gets handled or managed, because he tweets and does this during the show as well. I wonder why his shows are so garbage. I mean, yeah, it's happened a lot, and I am baffled by it. I fail to understand how or why this is a continued thing for him, but it is, unfortunately, and it continues.
If we had to decide, what do we think here? Who's guilty and who's guilt-free?
I don't honestly believe Nick is entirely guilt-free, but when you look at everything with the wave of harassment, intimidation, threats, all of it that has come his way. I mean, you've had people, like I said, sending him quote tweets of weapons, attacking his child, attacking his personal life. None of it's deserved. Should he have, put out Tony's details, the docs there, fake or not? No, that was uncalled for. And that just brings it to a totally different place that doesn't need to be. But when you're feeling that attacked and that slighted and that, misjudged, it's hard not to become a person that lashes outwards. But we still haven't seen Nick have this like total meltdown where he's risked any of his clients. He's put anybody in trouble in that regard. He's basically backed up everything he said with some form of perceived evidence, whether it's evidence or not. To us, it looks that way. Could it be the truth? It might not be. And I'm openly admitting that. But for everything that he's laid out and how he's laid it out, it seems to be true. Therefore, I, Jake DeMarco, personally believe that Nick LoPiccolo is not guilty.
I don't think he's guilty either. And I honestly think he's guilt-free for the most part. And I will think Tony Khan is guilty.
Yes, Tony certainly seems guilty. I mean, you've got your wrestling promotion. You've got your own fans. You've got your, everything that you could dream of in life. Why does it matter what someone says online? What do you care? Why does that impact you? If it's not is something that's so false or inflammatory that you need to sue over it. I mean, he's not calling you and comparing you to having some island out, and trafficking things. He's saying that you're, a shit boss. And I view it as like fighting fair for the most part with the back and forth. So I do believe that Tony is certainly guilty here. He's done this before, and it's happened many times again. We both dealt with Tony Khan personally. I in the DMs and you with your cease and desist that was ordered over tweets. Simple tweets, both of us. Things that are so ridiculous that should have been handled long ago. It's social media. It shouldn't matter. None of it should matter. And that's what really is the frosting on this shit cake, because it's so needlessly silly, so ridiculous, so unnecessary. We can deal, with enough in our lives that online harassment shouldn't be a thing. That's one of the things that I hated about, my daughter going to school at this time and whatnot, because if I ever got bullied, once that bell rang, I was home. I was away from the bullies. I got away from it. Like, as much as it sucked, there was a reprieve. There was a chance. There was a time. Now you're never not harassed and bullied and made to be fearful. They follow you online 24/7. They're in your Snapchats. They're in your texts. They're on your Facebook. They're in your Instagram. They're on your Twitter. You don't get a second. You cannot breathe with these harassers, bullies, whatever you want to label them as. But it's not a good look for anybody. And sadly, it really makes Tony look weak, but it also makes him look objectively small. Finding your weight in others' words, and not that others' words don't hurt, but it doesn't shape you. It doesn't change you. It doesn't matter. It's not your father saying that I'm not proud of you. It's not your wife. It's not your kid. It's not your cousin, your mom, or your uncle. It's a stranger online that's likely miserable themselves and venting to you. Is it fair? No. But you are in a political position. You are a public figure. And it comes with the territory. I had to learn about being a public figure, and that was of the lowest, garden ilk that it could be. And I still had to get used to things, because that's how it goes.
Yep.
Is it right? Not at all. Not a bit. Should it happen? Nope. Not at all. But does it? Often. Very often. And I'll tell you, that's what makes me worried, because I see people putting so much weight and so much unnecessities, basically into their perception of themselves on social media, that it shapes their entire lives. And without being online, people don't know how to exist. They feel like they're nothing. And it's a sad existence that likes and follows are the currency we thrive from, but it is. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, my good man. But
no, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Absolutely. Well, I personally feel like the one and only Nick, the Pick, is guilt-free. I thank you guys for coming back and joining us on today's Trials of one Nick LoPiccolo. Hopefully you enjoyed Guilty or Guilt-Free. We have some other episodes coming up for you soon as we re-resurrect this series, thanks to Cody's hard work and dedication. But in the meantime, Cody, I need you to tell these amazing people where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me over on my Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it nowadays, at Judgment Day Era. You can find me over on my YouTube posting game content soon at Judgment Day Era. And you can find me over on my Instagram at Cody_Onidi_316, soon to be all my Twitter, all my social media handles for all my social medias.
Give me a hell yeah.
Absolutely. And you can find us on the YouTube channel you just watched this video on. That's right. Come and hang out with us as we're live after almost every WWE, AEW, NXT, and TNA event. Check us out for all of our live reviews, our gaming nights, and so much more. YouTube.com/Jake DeMarco. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at CountdownEnded. Check us out on TikTok at Into.Somewhere, on Spotify at #IntoSomewhere, or wherever podcasts can be found. Hit the like button. Go ahead, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, and we'll see you all for the Raw review. Stay sexy.
Right back.